The Middle East is ablaze, with over 150 airstrikes in the past year alone, resulting in the destruction of critical infrastructure and the displacement of hundreds of thousands of civilians. This staggering number is not just a statistic, but a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict in the region. The fact that these airstrikes have been carried out by multiple countries, including the United States, Israel, and the United Arab Emirates, highlights the complexities of the conflict and the various interests at play. The consequences of these airstrikes are far-reaching and devastating, with entire cities reduced to rubble and innocent civilians caught in the crossfire. In Syria, for example, the ongoing conflict has resulted in the displacement of over 6 million people, with many forced to flee to neighboring countries such as Jordan and Lebanon. The economic toll is also significant, with the World Bank estimating that the conflict in Syria has resulted in over $200 billion in economic losses. Furthermore, the conflict has had a profound impact on the regional balance of power, with Iran, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia all vying for influence in the region. To understand the full picture of what's happening in the Middle East, it's essential to delve into the complex web of alliances and interests that are driving the conflict. At the heart of the matter is the ongoing struggle for regional dominance between Iran and Saudi Arabia, with the United States and Israel also playing significant roles. The conflict in Syria, for example, is not just a civil war, but a proxy war between these regional powers, with each side seeking to gain the upper hand. The Iranians, for instance, have been providing significant military and financial support to the Syrian government, while the Saudis and Americans have been backing various rebel groups. The situation is further complicated by the role of other regional players, such as Turkey and Russia. The Turks, for example, have been seeking to expand their influence in the region, particularly in Syria, where they have been involved in a series of military operations against Kurdish forces. The Russians, on the other hand, have been seeking to consolidate their position in the region, particularly in Syria, where they have been providing significant military support to the government. The Russians have also been seeking to expand their influence in other parts of the region, such as Libya, where they have been involved in a series of military interventions. The United States, under the Trump administration, has also been playing a significant role in the region, particularly in relation to Iran. The decision to withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal, for example, has had significant consequences, including the escalation of tensions between the United States and Iran. The Iranians, for instance, have been seeking to expand their influence in the region, particularly in countries such as Iraq and Lebanon, where they have significant political and military influence. The Americans, on the other hand, have been seeking to contain Iranian influence, particularly through the use of economic sanctions. The situation in the Middle East is also being driven by a series of underlying factors, including the struggle for resources, particularly oil and gas. The region is home to some of the world's largest oil and gas reserves, and the competition for control of these resources is a significant driver of conflict. The Qatar crisis, for example, is not just a diplomatic dispute between Qatar and its neighbors, but a struggle for control of the region's gas reserves. The Iranians, for instance, have been seeking to expand their influence in the region's energy sector, particularly through the development of their own gas reserves. The Middle East is also a critical transportation hub, with several major shipping lanes passing through the region. The Strait of Hormuz, for example, is a critical choke point for oil shipments, with over 20% of the world's oil passing through the strait. The Bab al-Mandab Strait, which connects the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden, is another critical shipping lane, with over 10% of the world's oil passing through the strait. The competition for control of these shipping lanes is a significant driver of conflict in the region, particularly between the Iranians and the Americans. In terms of what comes next, the situation in the Middle East is highly uncertain, with multiple scenarios possible. One possible scenario is a further escalation of tensions between the United States and Iran, particularly in the wake of the American withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal. Another possible scenario is a consolidation of Iranian influence in the region, particularly in countries such as Iraq and Lebanon. The Russians, for instance, may seek to expand their influence in the region, particularly in countries such as Libya and Syria. Ultimately, the situation in the Middle East is a complex and multifaceted one, driven by a series of competing interests and alliances. The conflict in the region is not just a local issue, but a global one, with significant implications for the world economy and international security. As the situation continues to unfold, it's essential to keep a close eye on the various players and interests involved, and to seek to understand the complex web of alliances and rivalries that are driving the conflict. The truth is, the Middle East is not just a region in chaos, but a critical component of the global economy and international security, and what happens there will have far-reaching consequences for us all. The situation in the Middle East is a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of the world, and the need for a nuanced and informed understanding of global events. By examining the complex web of alliances and interests that are driving the conflict, we can gain a deeper understanding of the situation and its implications for the world.